So good day everyone. Today we're going to present our picture of sickness and the death. So here is our thesis statement. Despair comes from not connecting with our true selves and God, which is not the root cause of all other forms of despair.
So here is our supporting points that found in the excerpt that aligns with the thesis. First is that the feeling of being hopeless comes from not really knowing or being true to ourselves, and he explores how people often pretend to be someone they're not.
So our second supporting point is that it is important to have a strong connection with God for understanding ourselves and beating despair.
So for our second supporting point is that the spiritual despair is not an isolated condition but serves as the foundational source for various other forms of despair.
So our personal experiences is that first, people can feel really sad when they choose jobs or paths that others expect, not what they truly love, showing how pretending to be someone else.
So for our second experience is that turning to prayer and seeking guidance from our faith during challenges times, depend their connection with God, finding inner peace and renewed purpose, illustrating Kierkegaard's belief that strong bond with God is essential for understanding oneself and overcoming despair.
So our third experience is that feeling spiritually lost and disconnected, a person notices that it affects their relationships and overall satisfactions.
So for our first objection is that feeling of hopelessness can only be attributed to lack of authenticity, disregarding other potential causes such as systemic issues or external factors outside of an individual control.
So our second objection is that to understand oneself and overcoming despair can only be accomplished through our religious framework.
So for our last and third objection is that it oversimplifies the complex nature of despair by disregarding the multitude of external factors and individual experiences that can contribute to such feelings.
So our answer to the objection is that first, the proposed idea does not discount the importance of external factors, but rather emphasizes the influence of spiritual despair on the various forms of hopelessness.
So for our second answer is that the idea recognizes the value of self-reflection, but suggests that spiritual perspective and practices can provide unique insights and resources for addressing one's innermost struggles.
So our third answer of the objection is that the significance of one's spiritual well-being is coping with difficult circumstances.
So for our first example that illustrates the answer is that the idea recognizes external factors but highlights how feeling spiritual hopeless can affect different kinds of hopelessness.
So our second example is that thinking about ourselves is good, but finding insight and strength in spiritual perspective and practices can help with personal struggles.
So for our third and last example is that the key to coping with difficult circumstances often lies in the significance of one's spiritual well-being.
So our conclusion is that despair arises when we fail to align with our authentic selves and God, serving as the fundamental source for various other forms of despair.
So for our first insight is that while external factors matter, the main point is that feeling spiritual hopeless can strongly affect different types of feeling hopeless.
Our second insight is that thinking about ourselves is good, but looking at the things from a spiritual perspective can give special insights and help with our personal challenges.
So for our last insight is that feeling strong in tough times often comes from having a good spiritual well-being.